Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I will be doing a book review in which I will be your host, Muhammad Hammoudi. On today's book review, I will be reviewing a scientific fiction novel written by H.G. Wells named The Time Machine. As usual, this book review will contain three main components. Number one, being a brief summary of the plot. Number two, a structural evaluation of the book's craft and structure, which includes the good aspects and the weak aspects that can be worked on. And finally, a conclusion that will include my summarized points, my star rating, and my recommendation. Keep in mind, throughout this book review, all stated is my opinion and my opinion only. This is not fact, and I am simply conveying my own thoughts and my own recommendations. Additionally, this is all my own opinion and nobody else's. Without further discussion, I believe I have introduced myself and stated the content of this book review, and now let's dive into the dystopia of the future. Like I mentioned, The Time Machine is a science fiction novel written by H.G. Wells. What I did not mention is the fact that The Time Machine employs the element of a story within a story. The first part of the book consists of the first two chapters and the last chapter, in which it is narrated by one of the time traveler's colleagues. On the other hand, the second part of the story is narrated by the time traveler, in which he talks about his experiences in the future, also known as the year of 802,701 AD. In the first part of the book, the time traveler is expounding on the great matter of time travel, in which he also shows his colleagues an object traveling through time. Afterwards, the colleagues are waiting for the time traveler at a dinner table. Once the time traveler arrives and they all indulge in dinner, the time traveler tells a magnificent yet simultaneously tiresome tale of a journey through time. In the future world of 802,701 AD, the time traveler discovers that there are two races present in this world. Number one being the beautiful upperworld Eloi, and number two being the sinister underworld Morlocks. The coexistence of these two distinct creatures sets the conflicts and events the time traveler faces into motion. Or in other words, these two distinct creatures impact the time traveler's experiences. Now that you understand the text of the time machine, I believe it is more appropriate to expound on the time machine's structure and context. In short, the structure of the book is quite phenomenal. However, the structure of any book becomes null when the plot is lacking. Luckily, the Time Machine's plot is not disappointing in the slightest and is quite spectacular. The future is portrayed as a downgrade from humanity, as the upperworld Eloi are portrayed as insolent ignorance. This creates an interesting premise, as the future is stereotypically portrayed as humans being more capable, intellectually speaking. In addition to the Eloi, sinister Morlocks roam the world, whom are nocturnal menaces that feast on the Eloi. Indeed, the presence of these two creatures create an interesting conflict in the world of 802,701, as it allows the reader to realize that the world in the future could very much be a dystopia. The book was to the point and did not stagnate too long on certain events. Every single event and realization was given its appropriate time amount, which allows the book to be more engaging and suspenseful. Or, in other words, the book did not bore me in the slightest. The narration of the time travel not only helped me understand the society of the Morlocks and the Eloi better, but it also taught me some valuable life lessons and natures that we indeed overlook in the real world. One notable example is intellectual versatility is the compensation of change, danger, and trouble. An animal in harmony is a perfect mechanism. Nature never appeals to intelligence until habit and instinct are useless. There is no intelligence where there is no change and no need of change. only those animals partake of intelligence that have to meet a huge variety of needs and dangers. The time traveler is seemingly the main character of the time machine, but the story outside the time traveler's story is narrated by one of his colleagues? Why? The time traveler is portrayed as a messenger of sorts. In the beginning of the story, he's not only talking about any normal matter, but he's talking about the recondite matter of time travel. And he was speaking as if he was preaching some sort of message, which he indeed was. We can move through time in our heads, so why can't we move through time in our tangible space? After this, the only time the time traveler is depicted as a human being is through the story he narrates. We do not see him act as a normal human being outside of the story, as his normal life is not narrated. In addition, the ending shrouds the time traveler further and further into the shadows of mystery. The reason why the main story in the time machine is narrated by one of the time traveler's colleagues is because you are not meant to understand the main intentions of a messenger. You are meant to understand the story through one of the eyes of the colleagues. You are meant to interpret the message on your own. No human being is the same, and therefore no human being interprets the same way, so everyone receives different messages. The singular message is why this book is truly something beautiful. The ending and epilogue allow the reader to think more and more about the story and the message it tells. One feature that could have been implemented into the time machine is character development. The colleagues are only prominent in 3 chapters, so it makes sense, but the time traveler did not seem to take anything after that long journey through time. I believe the time traveler was shown to be able to theorize everything without any effort, being depicted as too perfect. With the structure and craft of the book fully broken down, I will now give my final thoughts. In conclusion, The Time Machine is an excellent book, and it taught me some new and enlightening information, and it is definitely worthy of reading. The plot is deep and eye-opening. Language used to describe certain events was absolutely phenomenal, to the point where it taught me certain events that did not have to do with the book. And the narration of the time traveler, correlated with the colleagues, helped me think about this book in awe. However, I would have liked to see the time traveler develop a little more as a character, as he was portrayed as too perfect of a figure. If you are a fan of science fiction and want something enlightening to learn through the storytelling of a character in a book, then 100% give this a read, and I would definitely recommend this. However, even if the structure is beautiful, sci-fi is not for everyone, and not everyone will enjoy the plot of this book. Either way, this book earns a worthy 4.5 stars. I hope I have given you something new to read, or I have taught you something new whilst watching this book review. Either way, and most importantly, I hope you have enjoyed this book review, and this is Mohammed Hammoudi signing off. Have a good day.